Welcome y'all to Giff's 3-Minute Reviews. On today's episode, we're taking on a biggin as we tackle Kurokos Basketball, our first anime over 12 episodes. So we have a lot to cover in our review in 3 minutes or less, so let's get to it. Our story introduces us to our main character, Kagami Taiga, a very talented basketball player who just returned from America, who has become a bit bored with his competition back in Japan, as the players aren't quite up to his caliber. Since he loves basketball and is looking for a challenge, he signs up for his school's basketball team, the Sarin High School Basketball Club, and behind them, another player mysteriously leaves their application without ever being seen by the name of Kuroko Tetsuya, who the coach immediately recognizes that he comes from the same middle school as the Generation of Miracles, a team of nationally renowned kids on the Teiko basketball team. On the first day of the club meetup, everyone is impressed by Kagami's abilities and stats, but when it's Kuroko's turn, however, she notices that his stats are some of the lowest she's ever seen and questions how he could have been a part of such a renowned team. Later on, Kuroko approaches Kagami and challenges him to a 1v1 and just gets absolutely destroyed, but his goal was simply to test Kagami, and after Kagami tells Kuroko to quit, Kuroko hits him with this return. The following day, we have the Year 1 versus Year 2 scrim match, and everyone is blown away by Kagami's strengths, but the Year 2s begin to show why they're the seniors when something begins to happen. This is where Kuroko's talent is revealed. He is a passing master who uses his low presence to utilize the skill of misdirection to basically become invisible on the court to pass as he pleases. Later on, Kuroko expresses to Kagami that he wishes to make Kagami the best player in Japan and prove his way of basketball to the Generation of Miracles. And this is where our story kicks off. So outright, the story itself is nothing special. The goal of the team itself to become the best in Japan has more depth as time goes on and we learn more, and Kuroko's goal of taking down the Generation of Miracles is simple enough to keep us invested in the progression. The story, however, really shines with its supporting cast of characters, as not only our main opponents, the Generation of Miracles themselves, but every character that's introduced is compelling or hated rightfully in their own way. And we even find ourselves rooting for other teams and players as we witness all of their motivations and aspirations be laid out on the table. And we witness very simple yet solid character growth amongst these players. And we gotta talk about how spectacular this show looks. For a show that came out in 2012, this show still holds up as one of the best sports action sequencing to ever be made. I mean, just look at this stuff. This show excels at just being simple yet effective. It's not breaking any ground, but it gets us hooked and invested in the right way to make it genuinely enjoyable from start to finish, even throwing in a worthwhile twist where it matters to offset predictability. With all of this said, I'm giving Kurokos Basketball a stellar 10 out of 10 and stamping it with the Giff's seal of approval.